So, Jeff, sorry to be late. Actually, I was having a bit of a disagreement with my wife just before we got on. She has an issue with my comic book collection.
Oh no, why?
She says she just doesn't want to deal with my issues.
Oh, jeez.
The adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor. Ruining Jeff's day one by one with dad puns. Jeez, I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I'm Jeff. I have no dad jokes on me, but I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old.
You just have to be in the moment. It'll come to you. You don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Just let the dad jokes flow through you.
With my kids, we have a rating scale. So level 10 dad jokes.
Oh.
It's on a sliding scale. So we'll play this back to them and see what you get.
Oh, that'd be, man. We can't keep them up past their bedtime, but if they could be in the corner with like cards,
Yes.
like ranking it as it goes, depending on
Exactly.
how much. I will say there is a podcast that I cannot stop listening to. It's Dungeons and Daddies.
Oh yeah.
It is a real play of Dungeons and Dragons. The context of the show is 4 dads get thrust. The modern day our world dads get thrown into the Forgotten Realms within D&D, and their sons get stolen, and it's just all of them having to try to find it. The writing, the characters, like it's just a riot. It is so funny, and one of the mechanics they add is that if one of them makes a dad joke, he gets inspiration on his next roll, but all the other dads have to roll for damage that they take on their characters.
Perfect. That's how it should be. Yes.
Oh, and they come up with some zingers. It's great. So, anyways, if you've ever even kind of considered any passing interest in D&D or just comedy podcasts in general, Dungeons and Daddies, I can't recommend that enough. It is just so funny.
Nice.
For all your dad jokes needs. Now, Jeff and I pushed ourselves a bit this week. We wanted to get out of our comfort zone, and we wanted to try some beers that we wouldn't necessarily pick up. Beers and drinks, let's call it that way.
Yeah.
So not right off the hop, not like this is some of our go-to. It's like, no, we have heard through the grapevine about these drinks. Let's try and see what all the fuss is about from a gaming dad perspective. Jeff, what are you tapping into tonight?
So I stole this one from my wife. Don't tell her. She loves these White Claws.
Man,
And
so she's an influencer on TikTok.
yeah, that's right. I've been buying these every single beer run, and I decided to have one tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And White Claw Mango. It's like seltzer with, I don't know what liquor's in it, but something. But yeah, stepping out of my comfort zone for sure. I'm going into Mangoville. So it has that taste of summer to it. I will give it that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Is it like, would you expect it to be inside of like a big fish bowl with umbrellas coming out of it? Like is it just kind of mango flavored and going to get you buzzed? Like what's the draw of it?
I think it's just a spritz of mango in it. It kind of tastes, it's very easy to drink. So you can't even taste that alcohol in there. Maybe that's the point of them.
It's a purpose drink. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's mostly seltzer with just the mango flavoring on top. But yeah, no, I mean, hey, cheers to this. There's lots of other flavors out there, so maybe we'll run through them all. Who knows? But I'm in Mango Town.
Mangoville. Well, I'm joining you. We're Mango Buddies.
Oh, perfect.
Mango Dads. It's the new name of the show. So I'm
Yes.
trying Bud Light Mango.
Oh, there you go.
Now, funny enough, I stole this from my wife.
Oh.
This was recommended to her from a family friend. If you don't like beers, but she kind of has liked Radlers, why don't you try Bud Light Mango? Our friend of ours is drinking it a whole lot.
Okay.
Good. It's tasty, inoffensive. It sort of tastes like somebody spilled beer into a mango drink.
Okay.
Like that's really the context of it, where it's
Yeah.
kind of a tasty mango juice, but then there's kind of the fizz to it, and then almost like a hint of beer.
Right.
And yeah, easy drinking, like tastes pretty good. I think it's got I find some certain qualities with Bud Light beers that I don't particularly enjoy necessarily. That you can kind of get that at the end of it, but
Right.
altogether kind of inoffensive, tasty as far as like a light, easy something to drink, bit fruity for the summer months as we're in.
Yeah.
Also soon, so hey, Mango Boys have done well
Mango
tonight.
boy-
We did all right.
Mango boys are coming. Cheers to that.
Mango Dads, chink. Now, we had a listener reach out this week with some stories and some corrections, and maybe even threw me a rope of hope as far as my Mario Kart failings.
Oh,
which we'll-
really?
which we'll get into in a bit. But listening to the show, Tim, good friend of the show, he was mentioning that he had his particular scenario for parental controls on the Switch and PlayStation. I think we might have been fairly dismissive of some of the parental controls, especially on the Switch. What he's found is, and I'll put it in his words, for the controls on the Switch, I think where it may not be great is that it's system-wide versus user-specific. So for me, that works great. Where the PS4, I don't care to have a password on my profile as we use it to watch TV, etc. So that it didn't work for us. So if you really wanted to lock down your PlayStation, it's like, okay, here's the kid user profile.
Yep.
Here's the adult one, and you can actually put a password on it. So if your kid's trying to venture out and steal into some of your games, or maybe break your save files, which we'll get into later, Jeff, with your recent adventures, you can password protect. It does suck because like, okay, I'm gonna do a quick bit of gaming. Hey, what's your password? Tap, 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 tap. You know, it kind of does break the flow, and it certainly gets annoying.
Right.
So I can understand that part of it. Works great. Didn't work for us, but it does set up much better individual user-focused experience where the Switch is an overall setting. Can easily be turned on and off with a pin, and if the system goes off while the controls are disabled, they automatically come back on. So for his gaming life, he just found that it's two interesting approaches to it, where it's like lock it down per user, but then have to suffer some password fatigue versus like, okay, this entire system is good or bad. And you kind of walk it back. So that was an interesting perspective on one parent's struggle with controls. And as we always like to say, any gaming dads listening who have had experiences with this, good or ill, would love to hear about it. What is your current like password situation on your various devices with your kids? Is it kind of just open season? Like, well,
do you mean if I can remember them first of all? But
yeah.
yeah, no, it's password heavy. Like, I mean, Steam is all locked down. Nintendo is open because we don't have online, so there's not much they can do there besides the store. And then the PlayStation has just not passwords per profile, but I've set up passwords on the account so they can't change the ratings of games they could play. So they can go in and do whatever they want. They can't access the store, all that stuff. But yeah, man, I had to get a password manager to remember all of them. Because once you have your own, you have kids' profiles and then their usernames that they want to pick. Oh my God, I don't know how anyone remembers it.
Yeah, we had a bit of a downfall where playing Plants versus Zombies versus Plants, Garden Warfare. I think it's probably like 10 episodes ago. I talked about how much my kid was thrilled to play that game, and it's telling you it's a great hit as far as like dumb, silly Looney Tunes style first-person shooter. That's great. I had set up an account, so I had created him an email that he'll be able to use in the future. Got him a really nice one, you know. You're welcome, future son of mine. When you're listening back, mark this date. But then, upon a update to the game, they asked everybody to log back in to the EA services.
Right.
So it's like, oh, hey, Adrian, like, what's your password for your email? It's like, oh, dang, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
That's like, I hope I set myself as a backup email for your email, because like, unless you're rocking a BlackBerry, son, we might be kind of out of luck here for getting you any passwords back.
Yeah, and that one's a hard one too. Like EA it's just one of those subscriptions that you just don't like. There's a Uplay one for Ubisoft and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I have set up the accounts for that Neighborville because it was on the PS Plus, and I don't like the warning it gives you either, because it's like link it once per life. That's it. That's all you get. And you're like, oh, okay. Hopefully this email account works.
Yeah.
Go
Hope
ahead,
I never
son.
lose this email account.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's just cascading series of like passwords, and then for my kid's email that he doesn't even use yet, it's really frustrating. I really do wish there was more, hey, just play accounts. It's like log into the AA servers or just have at it, and there will be no save of the progress. So that's always kind of discouraging to see. Now, the second part of that message from Tim, which this was the ladder of hope. This was the ray of sunshine for me. like that it's not me, it's the Mario Kart and the characters I chose. Like, that's the real problem. I'm fine. No,
right.
Now, to be fair, honestly, I'm pretty sure it's me. I don't think I think if you played with any character, you probably would be fine. I think this is really just like my skills are slipping and his are improving, and we're just at that nexus. But apparently there's a whole kind of subculture online that discusses the tier list of Mario Kart characters.
Really?
this guy with this parachute and this car and this tire is like, this is S tier. Like, this is the best that you can possibly get.
Oh wow.
So I think like in competitive Mario Kart is probably like here's the top characters that you'd want to choose. You'd never see these other guys. And I've seen it even described as like S tier, A tier, B, C, all through that. So theoretically,
I never would have known. I thought they were all balanced. I thought that you were just like, oh, Trevor's sucking again. But you could have had the wrong setup.
now I probably was sucking. Let's be real clear. But there's some part of me that wonders, like, okay, is it possible that I just chose the absolute worst, like the worst of every possible one, and he chose the absolute best of every possible one,
Could
and
be.
just that was enough of an edge, and he beat me. So it's almost, I think what I'm probably gonna do next time I play him is just choose everything he chooses, same character, same car, same wheels, so it's completely even, and then we're gonna find out, okay, is it really the old man slipping, or was it just
Right.
cavalcade of mistakes made across?
I mean, that would be the ultimate decider. So I don't know if you actually want to do that in case the outcome is not what you want. Or you could blame it back on the equipment. But that is interesting because, again, just thinking back to Super Nintendo, it was so easy because it's like Toadstool was the one that could corner easy, and Bowser could be the one that bumps everybody or flattens them, right? And then now you have Mario Kart, and like, I earned all this equipment, but I really didn't know, I didn't really care what it did. But if it gives you an edge, I'll have to keep that in mind if I go against my kids again, just in case. Just in case. Back pocket.
I'd be curious to see. Like, again, I'm pretty sure you would beat me any day of the week, so I'm not like trying to put too much weight into this, but bastard. Just like, but I am curious about like what type of difference it makes. So
Yeah.
like I said, little ray of hope. Perhaps it's like not quite as bad as I thought. Maybe I don't have to give it the reins just yet.
Yeah. For science, give us an update. But yeah.
Just for science. Now, where I do need to kind of bow out and blame my poor skills, it will be with Hades.
Oh.
So this was, you remember from a couple episodes ago, I was dipping back into Hades.
Right.
Absolutely loving it. It's like such a gorgeous game. Like the art style is like it's just dripping
Fantastic. Yes.
with coolness and style and charisma. Like it's wild. It's so cool to see that these type of things exist. And super giant games, like bless them. But there's a God mode in it. So inside the settings, God mode. Now it's not, you're not invincible. It doesn't just hand it to you. You still have to do like a lot of work, but it's just extra experience, extra points. Like maybe I think you get some hit points back or whatever else. Like there's some help and benefit to it.
Okay.
Without just completely giving you the game. And after 4 or so runs, it's like, you know what? I'm on dad time. I'm taking every handout I can get the ego out of here. Just like give me the easier option.
Right.
Like
okay.
Dad don't got time for that.
Is that something you can flip on and off just through your run, or do you have to start with it?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I hope so.
If you have to plan ahead, that could be an issue. But otherwise,
fortunately, I'm not. This will be a good time to make this discovery because I'm not so far that I'm going to hate having to re-go through it.
Right.
And honestly too, like playing this thing is it's a blast. Like I think I have heard of people continually going through it like over and over again just because it plays so well and it's so fun to just kind of get through it. The core gameplay mechanic is so solid, so many different variants with the weapons and the power-ups that you can easily kind of keep going through it.
Yeah, just again, you mentioned it, the aesthetic and just the time period too. I'm totally interested in the mythology behind it too. So again, when it drops a little bit lower in price on the PS5, PS4, I'll pick it up. But I know you mentioned Game Pass, so it's always available there.
Always on Game Pass. I initially bought it on Epic, the Epic game store, and they had it fairly low. So I think it's one now that's you'll probably be able to pick it up for a song fairly soon. Yeah. As far as like kind of like the $10 range, so it'll definitely be worth a pickup. Coming to a local store near you. And we'll see with your amazing gaming skills if you'll subject yourself to God mode to help out.
Yeah, see, I've had the complete opposite experience in my venture into Dark Souls. So
But I just like how into the heart. Like I talk about Hades, which is not the hardest game ever, clearly, and I need God mode, and you're like, well, Dark Souls, I just got good. I don't know that I need a hand. Like what an embarrassing transition for me. Like this, I'm gonna sip on my mango Bud Light, and you go ahead and explain to me.
Honestly, I am as surprised at this as you are, just because it is a game that requires multiple playthroughs of the same level to get to the same boss or mini boss that you've died at. It doesn't hold your hand during it, and you can lose a lot. Like each death, you lose half your health. So it's just stuff like that constantly pushes you down, and you do have to remember and get better to get back to the spot where you were. So I conquered Demon Souls. That apparently was the easiest in this whole Dark Souls genre. So I'm like, oh well, let's start the new one, and well, the remastered version of Dark Souls, and get through it. Now, what I related it to, because again, I don't have the time for this, but I love doing it. And I think I pinned why.
Okay.
It's old school Mario all over again. Because old school Mario, you had 3 lives. You would have to complete the level. If you died, there was no real checkpoint beyond, maybe 1 or 2. But you would have to replay the entire thing again and remember where your mistake was to get back. Now, you didn't lose half your life when you started, but you had 1 life less to do it before that continue. And then game over, right? So I kind of related back to that, where we were built on this, Trevor. This should be in our blood to do these types of games, right? It's just something that, yes, we really don't have the time, I guess, to invest as much, but I think those skills are there. I think that's where I'm kind of finding the fun in it and conquering it. And my kids are cheering me on during this. So it's like a game that they can get involved with too.
So that part is cool, but I mean, you said we grew up with it, sure, but in some ways when we became dads, it felt like we grew out of it.
Could
and
be,
the amount of time you would need to dedicate to get good at this game, I'm really surprised that you don't feel that it's a time suck for you, as far as I know that I could dedicate, I mean, you could dedicate the next 2 years of your life to learning Icelandic, but it's not necessarily going to be the most useful or profitable thing for you compared to other ventures. So the thought that you're so compelled to keep going into such a hard game, I'm finding curious. Are you seeking the thrill of the difficulty that was the games of our childhood?
I think that's part of it, yeah. And it can be, these are games that pride themselves on being difficult, but they can be totally broken. So a lot, completely broken. So there's a lot in this that I have footage of that I'll probably upload to our Twitter account at New Dad Gaming, where I have cheesed the crap out of big bosses and enemies that I don't think you're supposed to defeat so early. You're supposed to, get better and get more equipment and, stats and take these things on. But a lot of them have invisible walls where they can't run through. When a world ends and another one begins, you can run through as a character because there's no loading. But that enemy can't, so you just stand by the door, just poke him. Just poke him until he dies, and you get tons of experience. So it is a grindable game where it's like an RPG, almost I think Final Fantasy X comes to mind, where you had to grind to get to the next boss to actually defeat it. So you can do that in this game to a point that will help you, or cheese the crap out of it. So you just find those weaknesses in it.
I do love a good cheese like that.
That is wonderful.
It is really gratifying for some reason to just find the corner they can't get to, and you're just pinging them with your arrow for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's you're not supposed to fall to me, but here we are.
Yeah, and you're just committed. I again, just in this game, again, it's you just roll and dodge all the time. And a lot of the enemies can't move as fast as you. So if you roll and dodge in a certain way, they just go off a cliff. They just walk right off a cliff, and you get all the experience from it, the equipment, everything. So cheese it. So maybe that's part of my quest for this game, is just see how I can break it and make it mine. So it's a dad committing to this.
I could see that as especially gratifying. That makes so much more sense to me. If you just said it was a straight, I want to dedicate myself to this absurdly, almost unnecessarily hard game.
Yeah.
As a gaming dad, I'd almost not understand it, but to hear you say the extra cheese elements, the kids cheering you on too, that is I do remember from a recent tweet where your kid had written down all the best gear to get and where to get it. That's just, I don't know how you not True. Not trudge through when you have like a team behind your back.
Yeah, and I think that's the point in this dad gaming where they can sit by and watch me play these sort of like they're definitely more mature games, right? So they can participate in that and see me win, Trevor. I have to win because if I lose, it's like losing to them. I can't do it.
Okay, well, hold on. Just like it didn't sound like it was going to start as a dig at me, but there it was. No. Like, this
like, little backhand there.
Like, what are you going to do? Lose at Mario Kart too?
What are you going to do?
How embarrassing.
You're going to look stats up for equipment? What are you going to do?
Get good, buddy. What's up? Now, what's interesting, so they're watching you play the game, but we talked about parental controls. We talked about you playing this game with them. It eventually kind of leads into them playing your games. Hey, Dad, I can play older games now. May I play your game? And it seems as though you've come across some issues with them messing with your save files, if I understand.
Yeah, so this is the problem with, I guess it wouldn't be parental controls, but it's like my own profile where all the cloud saves and all the saves underneath the game that we've progressed in are under me. So my kids go under my profile and they play it up, and lo and behold, the save files are either completely blown apart. My character is like de-leveled. Equipment's gone. Everything's gone. And it's just something that happens because they want to play online with their friends, and that's the game's file save that is most progressed to get them where they want to play with their friends, right? They don't want to start at the beginning. They want to start at the top. There you go.
That's destroying. Okay, so is it just they're messing with your save files? Are they just like, and then they ruin your quest or like sell all your good gear? Are they actually deleting it and you just lose your progress? Like, what's the what sins are they committing as far on these gaming files?
So this is specifically in Terraria, where you have a profile, like a character save and a world save. So they're using my character, which is all the equipment and stats, and the world file, which we have specifically built stuff in and mined. And then they go online with their friends and they blow it all up. And they trade armor because they want to like give their friend like, hey, look at this armor. You're starting out. Here you go. And then I get back into the file.
Hold on, just like they're like so your kids.
Oh yeah.
Not with their characters, but they bring your character on and just like pawn all your stuff off to them. Hey, my dad's got this cool stuff. He's not going to use it. Here you go.
Nope. Just drop it all on the floor so somebody else can pick it up, and then I'm sitting there like nothing. So they completely wrecked the house we built. They mined where they weren't supposed to, and they got further in the game where like, hello, I thought we were doing this together. But it's like those things where it's just I understand that they want to play with their friends and they want to play in this game world that we've built, but I don't think they fully understand that all that stuff is automatically uploaded to the cloud and saved over top. So you can't go back.
Oh boy. Right?
There's no like, oh, I hit the menu and save. Oh no, I ruined Dad's save file. This is all automatic. And like it constantly uploads to the cloud.
Yeah.
So
ruining the shared built world.
Right? I mean,
it's almost like it's a different type of family talk. You have to have the talk about strangers. You need to have the talk about manners and like respecting people. And then you need to have the heart to heart. Come have a sit with your old man. Listen.
Yeah.
When a man saves a file in his game, it's very precious to him. And it's not something you need to mess with. You're ruining a man's soul at his time.
Right.
And if you do it again, you're grounded for a month. So
you don't get to play anymore.
It happened to us recently where we've been playing Castle Crashers. And every time I played with them, bless his heart, but they're not really, my kids are not pulling their weight when we're playing Castle Crashers, right? So I'm trying to build up one particular character so I can kind of be massively above as far as leveling.
Right.
So that I can sort of carry the team as they're going through this game. So let's say I get them up to level 17, 18. Fairly beefy, like we can get through the earlier encounters very simply. And then we go to log in the next time. It's like, hey, let's play. Like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm just flipping through the characters and it's like level 1, level 4.
Oh, no.
Level 6. I'm like, where's the guy? Where's the big beefy guy? Because like, I can't keep doing this. Like, I don't want to. And then we go to the map and a bunch of the levels that they had just, I think, blown away the save file. I don't even know how to do. I don't think there's a button that like allows them to do it.
I went back. They'll find a way.
like I went back. I'm like, did you log into the wrong account? Like, is like how is this even possible that you would ruin all this progress? I'm like, is it a bug in the game? Like, can I
Right.
even blame them for it? Like, I'm not going to get an answer on that, of course. But and now the thought that I have to, they want to progress and they want to see some of the cool stuff, and it's like, well, we're going to have to do it all again because like we've lost our files.
Right. And see, we talk about Dark Souls restarting. Well, look at this, where you have full on game progression where you have to start at the beginning with, primary materials and stuff. So
Basics. So, like, I'd be curious too. Like, if it eventually gets, if we were more of the in the MMORPG world, even with some of your like, I don't know how if you dip back into Final Fantasy Online,
here
but
and
that
there, yeah.
but those type of progression games are really precious as far as as far as I've observed of that type of gaming. So you could just imagine your kid dipping into your online account that has, successfully gone through all these raids and just, it's like, hey, do you want this cool spear? I think my dad likes it a lot, but you can have it random, like Rando Stranger
Yeah,
165.
exactly.
Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Just garage sale of all your things.
It's going to be a problem as they get older because again, that's like your name out there, so to speak, right? Like that's your alias. And that's where I'll give props to Nintendo because all their online stuff is for the family, like they have a family package, whereas here on like primarily PlayStation household, you have to pay per user. So that's $70 just to get online, and my kid is not going to do that, and I'm not sure if I will continue to do that if he goes online with my profile. Because again, if you go on to these cloud saves and an MMORPG or something, oh my god, like I could be like known on the internet completely different than what I've built for myself.
Look at this dork new dad gaming just jumping around naked on the server.
Why is he
What a
doing that?
tool. Everybody's shadow banned. I'm like, gotta get this guy done.
He's giving everyone thumbs up. What is he doing?
Just get an email like, you've been banned from this server for like obtuse behavior.
Yeah.
Going into the bar and saying tee-hee for 4 hours. Like, it's just not welcome on this server. Get
Yeah.
my saves.
I don't know, man. Kids grow up too fast, and I like where they're at in terms of gaming, but it just opens up a whole new world of possibilities and problems.
Of ruined games. Yeah, so man, I want to hear some dad stories. If any gaming dads are listening and have had a save file ruined by a kid, be it an online reputation, be it a actual save file where you lost all your progress, would love to hear some stories because I get a feeling there's going to be a lot of that as kids get older and get more into larger games with dependent save files.
Yeah, again, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of those talks. You sit down and, hey son,
I would just love to know that somebody got grounded for it. It's like you ruined my Final Fantasy character. You are grounded for the week. I spend months of dad time on that, which is like years of normal people time. Like, that's just, how dare you?
absolutely. And I would be the one crying. I'd be like, your kid's asking you, is everything okay? I'd be like, no, nothing's okay.
Yeah, it's a modern day scratching your dad's records, basically.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's a record of sorts, so we can roll with that. All right, wrap it up for the week. How did the White Claw seltzer hit you through the episode?
Again, pretty easy to put down. Not much to it.
As in drink down, right? Not
Just
just like
drink down. Drink
okay.
down and
'Cause
put
put
down.
down is like you put it down on the table and you walk away.
No, yeah, it's pretty easy. Again, it's pretty. It's an easy drink, and it has that little mango flavor, but a lot of seltzer in there. So if you don't like that, do not pick it up. But otherwise, give it a shot now and again. How about you? How's Mango Town over there?
Yeah,
Mango Buddies.
Mango Bud over here is doing all right. So it's
Okay.
very much, like I said, it's got some of the, if you're not partial to Bud Light, there might be some of the aftertaste that you don't necessarily enjoy. But as far as how it hits, it's cold, it's light, it's got like a very fruity, of course, because it's just the mango with just a bit of beer taste into it. And pretty good. Yeah, like you found this at a summer gathering and there's not much else that strikes your fancy. I'd say this is a excellent choice for a outdoor type of situation.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Okay,
good work,
well-
bud. Good work, bud. All right.
Good work, bud.
Good work, buddy. All right, that will do it for this week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to reach out to us, if you have a save file horror story, if you are yourself conquering Dark Souls, if you want to make fun of me for being so bad at Mario Kart, or have the perfect build to let me get back on top of this household with kart racing, I would love to hear it. You can reach out to us on our social profiles at New Dad Gaming. You can also find us at our website, newdadgaming.com. Would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear some stories. And that's where you'll find all the information about the podcast. The podcast itself, if you liked it, you'll find it on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, all the major platforms. What would really help out the show is we try to grow it and reach out to gaming dads. I'm not going to find my perfect Mario Kart build if gaming dads don't listen to the show. So
That's right.
if you can give us if you can subscribe to the show, and if you can leave a rating and a comment, it really, really helps out the show, and we are forever indebted to you. We really appreciate it. So everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. And until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. And just because became a dad
Doesn't mean it's game over.